I don't remember the last time I took a vitamin, but that's neither here nor there. Hi Beats, it's EKG. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Ebony, but I like to go by EKG. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you're taking care of yourself. I have to be honest, I haven't really been taking care of myself. I don't remember the last time I took a vitamin, but that's neither here nor there. Thank you so much for joining me today. And we're almost at 2,000 subscribers, which is actually wild. I really appreciate each and every one of you who watch my videos, like them, comment, engage with my content. It means the world to me. And today I'm going to be talking about my June and July reads. Got an old-fashioned booktube video for you. I'm doing a reading wrap-up and I'm super excited because I read absolute banger fire books in the months of June and July. So let's get into it. The first book I want to talk about is a Miss Sally Rooney, and that is Conversations with Friends. This book was a banger for me. Absolutely loved and adored it, and it follows the main character Frances, who is a 20-something living in a city, going to university, and she is an author, a writer, and a poet. And she gets involved in a relationship with a married man, and so you get insight into him. His character, his name is Nick, and his wife, and then also Frances's best friend Bobby. And I just thought that Conversations with Friends is a phenomenal take on the complexity of relationships and intimacy. And even though you are involved in intimate relationships, you may still feel lonely at heart, which is what Frances felt a lot of the times throughout the novel, or that's how I'm interpreting that she felt throughout the novel. I just thought it was fantastic. I really appreciated, and I think this is what I vibe with more about Conversations with Friends, is the fact that it's only from Frances's point of view. I don't think I would have liked the story if it was from Nick's point of view, because no. Sally Rooney is a phenomenal writer. I mean, how many times have you heard that on the internet? But I'll say it again. She knows what she's doing. She is a master at reflecting real world events and occurrences and thoughts that everyday people face and go through, and incorporating that into a fictional world. So for me, Sally Rooney's worlds always feel so real, and the issues of classism, sexism, and the commentary on racism always feels very pertinent to what's going on. And that's also what I loved about Normal People as well. So I gave Conversations with Friends 5 stars. Absolutely thought it was a banger, and I need to get my hands on Beautiful World, Where Are You? I know it's coming out in September. The next book that I read in June is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and Malibu Rising is about Mick Riva's, his kids, and Mick Riva is a part of the cinematic universe, if you will, of Evelyn Hugo, the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and of Daisy Jones and the Six. So that's Taylor Jenkins Reid's 3rd installment in this world, and it's set in the 80s, and it just follows the siblings, their lives from growing up into becoming young adults. And I thought that Malibu Rising was great. It delivered those beachy vibes that I wanted in a summer read. In the story, the siblings are throwing this huge party, and you just kind of see the buildup of their relationships to themselves, their mother, their father, and also the people that they're involved with now that they're older, and the relationships between them as siblings and within themselves. And I thought that aspect of the story was very beautiful. I ended up rating Malibu Rising a 3.5, I believe, and that's just because it wasn't my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid book that I read, although I really did still enjoy it. I just got a little lost and confused with the introduction of so many characters, which I'm realizing is a thing that I struggle with in novels. Like, if there's a lot of characters being thrown at me, I find it harder to engage in the story. I tend to like books that only involve like 1 to 4 main characters, and I really get to sit with them in their lives, as opposed to having like four siblings, and then a mother's perspective, and then a father's perspective, and then tertiary characters who I'm like, where are they even coming from, and why are their perspectives necessarily important to the story? So yeah, that's just my main critique on Malibu Rising. Otherwise, can't wait for, apparently Taylor Jenkins Reid is releasing a fourth book in this world, and everyone is hoping for a Britney Spears moment. She's saying there's one main woman character that she wants to explore in her world and how they're treated in the media and the public eye, so I'm here for it. And the next book that I read was James Baldwin's Giovanni's Room, and let me say that I wrote out 4 pages worth of notes in my notebook on Giovanni's Room. I just think the allegories behind this novel are so interesting, so complex, and not much is going on plot-wise, but it's just very character-driven, and sorry, that's what I like. James Baldwin, I don't need to say this, but an icon. I mean, just so much wisdom, so much love for the craft of writing, and it's very evident in Giovanni's Room. And Giovanni's Room, I think, is best if you go into it not really knowing a whole lot of what's going on, so I'll just give you a brief synopsis. And Giovanni's Room follows the main character, whose name is David, as he lives in Paris. He's an American living in Paris. He meets Giovanni one night out on the town, and how that affects David and Giovanni, and the story is so heartbreaking. It's so beautiful, and I see a lot of themes of this old world versus new world. Paris gets compared a lot to America, as well as what a Garden of Eden is for someone, what a paradise is for someone, and how a paradise can quickly turn into a sort of prison or confinement, which I think is brilliant. But that's all I'll say about Giovanni's Room. Definitely check it out. It is an absolute banger, another 5-star read for me, and I mean, it's James Baldwin, so what did I expect? Nothing different. Okay, so next in June, I finished Citizen in American Lyric by Claudia Rankine. It is a poetry collection, if you will, and it just details the Black experience in America, how microaggressions manifest themselves in everyday lives, as well as overt racism. And I thought that the writing was so poignant. Everyone needs to read this book. I had to take my time with this one. I'm not gonna lie, I think I started it a month before in May, and I didn't finish it until somewhere in the middle or end of June, just because the story really hit me a lot in ways that when you're existing as a Black person in America and you witness these microaggressions, sometimes it's a lot to, like, you just get memories back from what you've experienced. But I definitely think it's worth the read for anyone. Super poignant book. Okay, so up next I read Know My Name by Chanel Miller, and Know My Name is a memoir detailing what it's like to be a survivor of sexual assault, and she just talks about the systemic issues in our judicial system and our policing system, and how it favors those who are wealthy and men or perpetrators of abuse, how survivors of abuse don't really get to create or claim their own narratives because they are often pushed into a light that is negative, whereas the abuser gets highlighted. So this read was very, very heavy. I also took this read very slowly. It opened my eyes, it made me angry, and being vulnerable and raw and just laying everything out on the table, which is just so brave, so amazing of her. And I mean, how do you even rate a book like this? You can't, but everyone needs to read it. Okay, and the last novel I think I will talk about today, and I read Dreamwork by Mary Oliver. I mean, when I say I loved Dreamwork so much, if you can see, I dog-eared a lot of this book. Some of these poems I think I have memorized at this point because I just keep rereading them, and they're amazing. and I would love to read a short poem to you all, just so you can get a gist of the poetry collection itself. I always find it's a little hard for me to describe exactly what poetry collection is about, but Mary Oliver uses a lot of reflections of nature and how that relates to the human condition and to creativity and to being an artist, and in between state of being in a dream state where you are feeling very connected and grounded in earth, but you're also having this airy experience. This poem is called Poem, and it's on page 52 of Dreamwork. The spirit likes to dress up like this: 10 fingers, 10 toes, shoulders, and all the rest at night, and the black branches in the morning, and the blue branches of the world. It could float, of course, but would rather plumb rough matter. Airy and shapeless thing, it needs the metaphor of the body. Lime and appetite, the oceanic fluids, it needs the body's world, instinct, and imagination, and the dark hug of time, sweetness and tangibility, to be understood, to be more than pure light that burns where no one is, so it enters us in the morning, shines from brute comfort like a stitch of lightning, and at night lights up the deep and wondrous drownings of the body like a star. That is one of my favorite poems in this collection. I think this one is making it to my top spot of my favorite Mary Oliver collection. But yeah, if you didn't know by now, this is a Mary Oliver stan account. I only stan a few people in this world, and Mary Oliver is one of them. I'm obsessed. I'm making it my mission to read every single collection of hers by the end of the year. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, I just want to say thank you again for watching me. My channel is experiencing a lot of growth right now, which is super exciting, and I'm very appreciative. This is such a dream. I love just talking about books and reading books and talking about poetry, and I really appreciate each and every one of you who takes the time out of your day to comment, watch my videos, and send me messages. I love you guys. And yeah, I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye!
I was like, yo.